9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad. We are here with another edition of WWT Live, and we got so much to talk about. But I am not alone. You know, where there's WWT, there's hope. Hope is in the building. How are you doing?
Hello, happy Dynamite Wednesday, TK. Good people in the chat. Hi, y'all. Good to see ya.
Hey. And where there's hope and there's Dynamite Wednesday, there's also Miss Honey.
Hello, buzz, busy bees of the WWT universe. 'Tis I, your sweetest Deuce. Let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about.
Definitely a lot to talk about. I'm just trying to see where do we want to start? Well,
Listen,
I guess the bigger question is, okay, I'm gonna get you ready. So either Honey or Hope, you guys can, in the next story, we're gonna do the breakdown or the preview for AEW, so you guys can get that ready. But all right, let's start with some good news. So Nikki Cross, she signs with Progress Wrestling, which is big because actually, Honey, I'm gonna let you take this because I know you were affected when she got let go. So tell us how this all progressed.
yeah, this is just something that's really cool. I mean, Progress Wrestling has been around for quite some time, and her and Big Damo, as they call him, her hubby, will also be joining her on that roster as well. They pretty much signed and appeared to be connected with Progress Wrestling going forward, and pretty much signaling like a notable names in the UK and European wrestling scene all over again. It's a huge boost for them. It's also a huge boost because they have roots in the UK wrestling scene. Big Damo has a very underrated legacy in that field, and I feel like they could be rebuilding some momentum over there again, which is really cool to see. And Nikki, I'm happy to see her anywhere. So get it, girl. I love it.
Yeah, very, very true. Before I get your opinion, Hope, let us know what city, what state, what country you guys are hailing from. Also, our super chats are open. So what does that mean? That for $2 and more, you guys ask us any questions or opinions what is going on in the wrestling universe. So Hope, thoughts on this acquisition?
Oh, absolutely excited for Nikki and her hubby. I too was bummed when her contract was not renewed by WWE. I just thought it was a big miss. She's been around for a bit. She's accomplished a lot outside of the ring, education-wise. She recently received a college degree, and I'm just happy for her. You know, good things come to good people, and it just shows that even if your contract isn't renewed, it doesn't mean that your career is over. And to go to the UK and take over this, you know, and who knows, it could become a part of NXT Europe at some point. We'll see. We shall see.
Bring that back. That'd be sweet. And plus, I want to see Crazy Nikki again. I just want to just Nick go crazy. Just go crazy on all of them, please. Just chaos. You know, chaos. I love it. I love my chaos.
Yeah, I kind of felt like they dropped the ball with that, but you know, I mean, I think we're kind of used to WWE dropping the ball on a few things. Again, not blaming them because they have a lot of things going on, but there could have been a lot of storylines that we talked about extensively that they kind of, you know, left out. But you know, who are we? All right, so because I know our producer from the future is going to be asking. So Hope or Honey, who wants to take this to AEW preview while Courtney, y'all, if you are in the New York or New Jersey area, definitely check out and you're going to see AEW. Courtney will be in the building, so definitely go and look out for her. But
say hi.
What's happening? And say hi, or tap her on the shoulder and say buzz and scare the crap out of her.
Yeah, she'll think it's me. No, but yeah. So AEW, what is it? Is it another 3 hour? I believe it's another 3 hour special. Yeah, and they're going to be in Philly at I hope I don't butcher this, the Liacouras Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Double or Nothing was unforgettable. Let's see what the fallout would be from that. Because honestly, personally, I watched that whole thing from top to bottom, and it was absolutely 10 out of 10. No notes. I enjoyed it thoroughly. MJF will be celebrating tonight, becoming the 3-time AEW champion in Philly after beating, of course, Darby Allin for the championship. And he gets to keep his hair as well. So,
I think we knew that was all gonna happen. That was gonna happen.
Already know.
Yeah, definitely. He was definitely on the pick to win, though it could have been on the fence. I mean, Darby was practically there anyway, so it was kind of like, I think it was a little pointless to have the hair thing. But that after we also have after Jericho's team won for the Stadium Stampede, him and Ricochet are going to be one-on-one. We also have Chris Statlander challenging Hikaru Shida, because I almost messed that up, after her blindside from Double or Nothing. So we'll see them go one-on-one in a lights-out Philly street fight. Courtney's going to have so much fun tonight, just so y'all know.
Yes.
I think there's
sorry. You have more?
There's tons more. We have let's see. We also got Renee Paquette is going to be interviewing Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis after the Proto Star's shocking return, and of course aligning himself with the Don Callis family over his friend Konosuke Takeshita. So it's going to be pretty wild with that. We also have the tag team champions. I'm not calling them what they call them. They're Edge and Christian, and they always will be to me. I don't care. All I know is I better see a 5 to 10 second pose or something for this celebration for these new AEW champions. So, but there's going to be that and so much more going into Dynamite in Philly. It's going to be fun.
It definitely will be. Here's a question. So shout out to Before the Bell. I was on their podcast on Monday, and they made a statement that, AEW Double or Nothing is kind of bringing it more than WWE is right now. And I think we see behind the scenes, we see the amount of people who are covering it now, etc. What are you guys' thoughts as far as seeing Double or Nothing compared to where WWE is right now, as far as storylines, how they treat their creators, all the things?
They're not wrong. AEW is bringing it. It's like they're getting better and better. My only, I don't know if complaint, I guess concern, no matter how great the show, I just don't feel like any wrestling show should be longer than the Super Bowl. My goodness. A 1 a.m. media scrum after watching shows.
After all of that.
Imagine being in there. There has been 3 or 4 times. I remember I flew to Seattle for one of them, and I just did a day trip. I literally flew in that day. I saw the show, and by the time that we finished, because I learned by the time we finished, it was about 1 a.m. I just booked it. I just went to the airport, took a nap, and got the red eye back. It was pointless to go to the hotel to leave.
You might as well just go. You're right. You might as well just do the whole shebang.
Yeah. It's
full vampire. Full
Like,
vampire
do right? Do you do no media scrum for WWE, right? Or you go to a media scrum where Tony asked, everybody can ask 3 questions. Literally, everybody can ask 3 questions. There has to be. there has to be a healthy medium. I don't know. It's like one of those things
light structure.
We don't got it.
Just a little light structure.
We have no more questions. Yeah, right. We have no more questions, Tony. There's no more questions. Let's end this in an hour.
Shout outs to them though, because they, it's helping in the long run. It helps both sides. So I get the double-edged sword either way. But 2 a.m. medium scrums, that's 1 a.m. That's wild.
Yeah. Crazy. Just stop with the bad backpack. There's point. There's really no point in going back to the hotel. Anyways, that was my light rant. And I don't think after that show I've been to one since.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because it's just a grind, because it's like there is a long show with you. It is a very long show, and it's just one of those things where it doesn't disappoint, but I think, I don't know, maybe for the people who have the luxury of being able to just be in the moment, I think I have so many things I'm just kind of like, okay, this is hour 4.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then it depending on the stadium, the internet might be working, not working, and it's just like, oh my god, okay, all right.
That's the
whatever.
worst. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Is when you want to post something and it's everybody's doing the same thing and creating stuff. And oh god, but that's
where do I charge my phone? It's like it's 4 hours, it's 5 hours. I need to charge my phone. I have nowhere to charge my phone.
That was the first.
They're basically telling us get portable ones. That's what they're making. That's what they're making us do.
Yeah, my first thing when I first I forgot even what show it was, but then when I like had to try to find a charger and I was at Staples Center plugging my phone outside the bathroom, I'm like, okay, I need to develop a better system for this because this cannot happen again.
This cannot go on. This shall not.
Yeah.
This will not.
A portable charger is definitely. I travel everywhere with it. It's a must. Anywho, I guess the consensus is so you guys think that AEW is kind of stepping up their game as far as storylines. However, the length of Double or Nothing was a bit
not
bit
just
much.
Double or Nothing, the length of all of their pay-per-views. It just, again, even if it were my favorite artist, at some point my butt is going to go. My feet are going to go. I mean, we need to wrap this up. Make it a 2-nighter.
And I'm with you on that, Hope, because I honestly, this isn't the first time I've seen an AEW pay-per-view that's locked me in through and through. And it happens every time with the pay-per-view. For some reason, Dynamite and Collision can't catch me as like for some reason on my end, it just doesn't get to me until because I know when it's the pay-per-view season, I already know it's going to be hot. I don't have to see anything too much that's going on because they do have a lot going on. But I know one thing that AEW will do is put on a damn good show.
They will.
Like that and no matter how long it takes, clearly, 8-hour, 9-hour show plus a pre-show and a post-show and media scrum. Child. What? Listen, we'll do it all. Might as well be like Coachella, one of these things.
I can imagine the parents who are bringing their kids though. Like, what is that like? Can you
imagine trying to tell those kids we got to go home because it's late and you got school in the morning or something? Can you imagine trying to tell those kids that?
This is a funny story. It was I believe it was Revolution. It was on the Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland, and he got the noose. And I was working with a company at the time. I won't name it. I was working at a company, and I brought it. We were trying to do a deal, but anyways, I brought some of the other producers, and the producers brought their daughter, and I can't take blood, and these kids were like so invested. Like I was like turning around, and they're just like gung ho into it. I'm just like, how? AEW is and I think too what we can say is that with WWE and AEW at the end of the day, every company, every person, like nobody's on cloud 9 for 80-70 years of their life. There's ups and downs and ebbs and flows with everything. And for those people who are wishing AEW away, that's not okay. You have to allow this company to grow. And I hopefully they will consolidate or not TV for 7 hours, but also not lose who they are. So that's the hope. That's the hope for sure. Oh my goodness. But also speaking of AEW, they're going to be debuting in Montreal, a pay-per-view in Montreal in July. I'm kind of it's slightly because I am going to be in Canada, but I think I'm going to be missing this by 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, should I switch some things up? I don't know. Anyways, it's going to be happening in Montreal, which is big because I feel like WWE is now focusing more internationally.
They are.
As far as their pay-per-views and stuff like that. You can kind of see, I mean, obviously where WrestleMania is going to be next year. So, thoughts on the compare. Do you think the fact that WWE is focusing more internationally, AEW is kind of picking up these markets like Montreal, etc.? Do you think that it'll benefit AEW in the long run and WWE will lose out, or both parties will be fine?
I think both parties will be fine, but what I actually think is interesting is when someone made the comment to Tony Khan in the media scrum about next year's Mania, there not being an event on U.S. soil. And his comment was something to the effect of not yet. So maybe, just maybe, AEW may pull something out WrestleMania weekend working with the independents. Can you imagine what that would be like, literally? And I equate that to Montreal, because when I think of Montreal, when I think again, I mean, I think we all think of the Hearts. I think we think of Trish. We think, I mean, there are a number of, you know, even the Edge and Christian. I mean, they're you think, you know, it's in Jericho. You know, it's wrestling territory, and I do believe it's an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. WWE isn't going anywhere, but it's clearly evolving under the TKO umbrella, and it's going to take some time before it shakes things out. And AEW is still growing. It's not. I don't. Are they a decade old? Like, serious? I don't even think they're a decade old. So
I know where you at, Bosa. You're supposed to tell these the facts. Bosa, you missing out, man. Information off.
I think what they're like 5 years. Didn't they just celebrate a 5-year anniversary that last year? Or
no,
something?
they're past 5. They might be
past
6.
6, maybe 6 or 7.
They're past. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean, my point with that is that they have accomplished a lot during this period, and I'm so happy that they've hung in there and that they're thriving and that they're picking up opportunities, because let's keep it real.
7 years old. They're 7. Oh, thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, you're right.
Awesome. You know, to be able to actually ask questions of Tony Khan, that says a lot. Can you imagine being able to do that with Vince McMahon? With Jim Crockett or any of the other, Dixie Carter in the old TNA days? That's unheard. Even Hunter, you know, he took questions initially, but then they did away or revamped them. I won't say they did away with it, but they remodeled it. So kudos to them. Exciting time. Congrats to Montreal and to other places that they are clearly blowing up, and I'm just glad that AEW is catching fire, because they should. They're doing the damn thing, and I'm glad that they are here, and we have Dynamite Wednesday. So yay!
And now we have Redemption for the summertime. Pretty big.
Yeah, I'm really curious too as to. I am 90% sure something's in the making for WrestleMania weekend in the US. And I think Vegas might be kind of the play where it's like, okay, well, WrestleMania is not happening, but if you want to see all these shows, this is where you go. And again, I think, or something might be in the works. What I hope doesn't happen is that, which is very possible, people don't talk to each other. And now we have 3 or 4 destination places for WrestleMania in the US. Like, you know, might have Vegas, and you might have New York, and now all these places are broken up instead of essentially bringing people together. Because what I did find this year, I didn't even go to WrestleMania. There was more than enough to do. There are more than enough shows to go to. There is in fact too many shows for one person to go to at the same time. Is next to near impossible. Then you do WrestleCon, you do all the things, and then could you imagine the watch parties? Like, shout to Mojo Rawley. He had the watch parties at Palms Casino, and it was outside, and it was by the pool, and it was a whole situation. It felt, and then you had like all the. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like you know, kudos to WWE for venturing out, because there's more to the world than America, which is, you know, I know sometimes it's hard for Americans to hear that, but it's not like there can't be other things. Honey's like, no.
Right. I was like, I'm not sure which Americans you talk about, but I know this one's like, nah, I'd rather be out there too.
Oh, girl, we can talk offline. There's so many.
It's a whole nother conversation for another day.
There's a whole nother conversation.
But all in all, though, Montreal is such a great start, especially to have them for the summer. That's huge because they're one of wrestling's most iconic, legendary wrestling cities, and their crowds with the way they roll, they treat every match like it's a WrestleMania match.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So AEW is about to have a party with this one.
Yep, we're gonna see a lot of songs,
and a lot's gonna stem from that further. So shout outs to them as being someone who wasn't sure about them in the first place. I will give credit and respect where it's due. Y'all got that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens now. I have to like retool my summer calendar and see if I can, because I definitely want to kind of Montreal during the summer, for y'all who don't know, like, and if you haven't been to Montreal is totally different than Toronto, a very European vibe, and you definitely want to go during the summer. So like Montreal during the summer, in addition to, like, if you haven't been, this is probably the time to go. So that's my
Canada was with my grandparents, and we went to Niagara Falls. That was the only thing.
And you like this is funny thing. It's like you could literally drive. I used to drive to the US all the time. Like, it's so close. And I understand it's a little bit different because I was just like, you know, vibing.
I was also very little. I was also very little when I went too. So I didn't.
Yeah, and you married now. What's the excuse?
Money's the excuse, girl. Need more honey money. More honey. More honey McDuck working money, you know?
Oh boy. All right, well, let's get into NXT. I put a poll there in the corner if you all want to see WWT covering NXT on a regular basis with a recap and watch along. Let us know if you vibing with that. So Honey or Hope, what are your thoughts? Break it down for us, all that stuff. MDB, Honey.
Go for it, Honey Bear.
Honey money.
Wait, which stuff? Wait, I'm sorry.
NXT.
NXT. Hold on.
Oh, well then.
No, not even like that. I was just like, I was shocked at how I'm just shocked at how good it's picking up, because for a while I didn't watch NXT for like a couple of weeks. I just like fell off of it. It was that weird time when TKO started hitting us with all those
testing
releases
things
and everything, and I was just like, okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, let's just get into the good stuff, of course, because, you know, I'm sure Mayor might pop up in here somewhere for this, so let's just do this for him now. Lola Vice retains her NXT Women's title against Izzy Dame, which was a pretty damn good match. That was probably one of the best matches, besides Kaylani and Ren Sinclair, who also had a match. The women were rocking. We also had the debut of, excuse me, why can't I find my notes? Hold on, where is she? Oh yes, we had the debut of Layla Diggs, which was pretty damn awesome. So shout outs to her and seeing her in NXT. I feel like NXT women's division is continuously, quietly just being the strongest women's division in WWE overall.
They've been strong for a while, though.
That's what I mean. It's just so consistent. Yeah. And, you know, they really know how to roll them out, you know, the way they rolled out Kelly Armstrong and with Jada Parker and everything like that. And now we have Layla Diggs and Jada Parker. You're creating some feisty rivalries, some really good bangers in the future for like a good NXT takeover. You know what I mean? So it's really good setups for that. So I was just like, let's go. And I also heard there could potentially be more call-ups for a lot of the women in the NXT division. Well, one of them, I believe. I think something about Nikita Lyons potentially, from what I heard, potentially moving on up soon as well. But Layla stood out. Layla stood out right from the pack right away. They're actually giving women stories and, you know, factions. We're seeing their personalities really shine through. Lola's thriving as double champ, you know. So I just like the women right now for me are rocking. I wasn't a fan of the whole Dark State thing. I don't know if you guys want to chime in on anything else that happened, but the women's were mostly the highlight for me.
I agree.
Of the whole night. Because the Dark State thing, like, y'all are supposed to be a very intimidating group. Kind of like, I wouldn't expect a group like y'all to come out and have to explain your actions. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are supposed to be intimidated. Like, you guys it should just be because. Like, it should just be because. Like, you're here to cause chaos. You're here to start a scene, and we already know what happens with things like that when factions divide and stuff like that. But Do I think getting rid of Saquon was the right move though? Not sure, because I enjoy Saquon as well, but I could have done without that segment. Everything else with the women was perfect, and we saw the Tony D'Angelo thing and Evil and stuff with the men's title. But go women's wrestling.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
I don't, if I'm completely honest, the only reason that I watch NXT is for the ladies. For some reason, their creative in NXT just outshines. I'm not sure if it's because they have too many or they've got so much going on, but it seems like they shine in NXT and they get called up, with the exception of Fatal Influence, because that transition, those Dom reactions that they're still getting, and I love JC Jane. I knew when I first saw her come here for a PLE a little over a year ago, I saw her, they came up, I said, that's a star. If they do it right, she can be the breakout star, and she is killing it. Go JC Jane.
They fit.
It's really, I mean, the NXT, I feel like the moment that the TNA knockout started, getting a little bit shaky, that's when the NXT women started to pick up. And they've been kind of dominant ever since. And now you're seeing I think I talked about this on Friday, because you remember back in the Vince era, is like NXT and the main roster were very separate, to the point that you would have somebody in NXT and then they debut in a whole different name in the main roster. And once they stopped doing that, and once Vince was no longer in control, the transitions and building out the stories in NXT into the main roster, even though there is probably there's only so much, depending on your lifestyle, you can only watch so much wrestling for fun. So people tend to choose to either watch Raw or SmackDown or NXT. I don't see
or AEW or TNA
or AEW or NWA and all these other things. It's very hard to keep track of everything. So I think there's certain promotions, there's certain shows that are secondary. Like, if I get the highlights, great, but I'm gonna mostly watch this. And you can see how sometimes the progression or transition from NXT to the main roster, it at least you can trace it back to something, versus Piper Niven and now she's Dewdrop. It's like, well, what how did we get here? So I'll
never forgive Vince for that shit. I'll never forgive him.
Call her Dewdrop.
Like, are you kidding me, dude? Oh God.
Oh my God.
Well, I'll never forgive Vince for a lot of things, especially that. But
yeah, it's and we're in a different era, so we'll
we're in a new era.
We're in the new era. There's still gonna be. It's going to be ups and downs, no matter what. Let's honey, I still don't see, and I don't know if you want to put it in the private chat, the one for the Midcard. I don't see the link for that. But let's talk about Leilani Kai. She has, I believe, I don't know if you and Courtney interviewed her, or you spoke to her about it. I can't remember. The Cauliflower Alley Club is proud to announce Leilani Kai as a recipient of the 2026 Women's Wrestling Award at the CAC 60. A true pioneer of women's professional wrestling. I think she was also at WrestleCon too. So definitely congratulations to her.
Yeah, quick. I remember Courtney mentioning that.
Yeah. So they it's gonna be happening August 24th to the 26th in Las Vegas. Speaking of Vegas again. So definitely something for you guys to check out, but definitely and she's been featured on WWE TV quite a bit as well. So any thoughts of that?
Well, I mean, kudos to her. I mean, of course. Why wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
She's one of the women in wrestling where you call her literally a wrestling woman. Like, she was about that business, and she's also in recent years became a WWE Hall of Famer. So her work has always spoken for itself with where her roots and where she's come from in the wrestling business. So congratulations to her. Yet another milestone and accolade and notch you could add to your belt as to why you are a GOAT, Miss Leilani.
Absolutely. It's like she's one of those people where you hear her name and you can't help but smile because it takes you back to the glory days of women's wrestling. Congrats.
Definitely congrats.
She
all right.
So women they could run.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a perfect segue if my computer just didn't decided to freeze. So honey, if you want to play that commercial, if you can get pulled up. That is why we have the Women's Wrestling Archive for you guys, so we can document every wonderful thing that women are doing.
Yep.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
So definitely something to check out and support for sure. For the win, we're definitely working hard behind the scenes to get it all together. But yeah, it's a whole situation, y'all. But this, I believe, is going to be a bigger conversation. So let's have it. So the question is, honey, I kind of brought this in the backstage for us. Is there a problem with the women's mid-card title booking? So I don't know if you want to kind of talk about the article and then kind of give your opinion, honey, first.
Yeah. Shout outs to JJ Williams writing this for NoDQ.com. He posed a really good conversation, I'll call it. And I feel like it's something that we can continuously talk about because I've actually talked about this a lot on my watch alongs, being that I do have one of the mid-card titles on the show that I watch. But just to kind of like summarize what he had mentioned, he believes that there's a serious problem with the women's mid-card title booking. He also made it a point to mention that, even though, yes, the titles are not even 2 years old, so how can there be a problem? He lays out the fact that the United States Championship was announced by SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis on November 8, 2024, and a tournament was held which began on the 15th and culminated at Saturday night's main event on December 14th, where Chelsea Green had defeated Michin to become the inaugural champion. He continues on to say that other women in the tournament included Candice LeRae, B-Fab, like the names Bianca Belair, Blair Davenport, and all these names, Piper Niven, Lash Legend, and etc. And 520 days since that championship's inception, we've only had 6 champions, and 2 of them are repeats. So with naming that, and then also the counterpart of the Women's Intercontinental Championship, that was announced by Adam Pearce in November 25th, 2024. Another tournament was held that culminated for that on that end and then ended on January 13th, where Lyra Valkyria defeated Dakota Kai to become the inaugural champion. So since it's been 498 days since that championship's inception, and we've also had 6 as well, ironically. And one of those women is 3-time, while the rest are also 1-time, and the 1 3-time is the man Becky Lynch. So could there possibly be a problem? Of course, because look at all those women that we listed, right? I would kind of have to agree because we kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say that we diminished I wouldn't say it diminished the talent of the other women, but I just felt like during that time, I feel like JJ makes a really good point, because at that time it felt like, why we're bringing out these titles in such a big way why does it feel like women are being held back? You know, like as far as like the booking, like when Julia was champ, how often did we see her?
Right.
You know, we rarely did. And it's not to offend it's not to, it's not to put my opinion on anything. These are just literally the facts. So yes, you got to put on the glasses when the library is open always. Reading is fundamental, y'all. It's fundamental. And but yeah, so I would have to agree with a lot of those points. He goes on to talk about continuously about what happened with currently Tiffany as the United States champion after going from being the women's champion and going to WrestleMania with Charlotte and things like that. How do you get? I just feel like there's a certain I feel like there's just a certain way that TKO is handling things in that writer's room, or just the creative in the writer's room, period, for the mid-card titles. That's like, why are we only just relying on Becky? And granted, she's the man. Granted, she's one of the horsewomen. Granted, she's Becky. But still, at the same time, think about all those women we listed. And Chelsea Green is still hanging on. Julia is still there as well. The rest, a lot of those names are all gone. And where have they gone? Now we have Tiffany Stratton holding a United States title. So it's like, where's the direction going? And why hasn't there been any more push for these titles to be seen and defended when PLEs come up? Why are they on the back burner? So I kind of like this as a discussion, especially, we are women's wrestling talk. So I just felt like it's something that we could dissect a little bit, because it just seems like if you're Becky, if you're Rhea, you're holding that title, but you're not making room for all the other. I don't know what it is,
right?
What it could be,
Could it be the fact that could it be the fact that Becky and Rhea and Charlotte and some selected individuals, they're already battle tested, meaning that they're TKO approved. We all discussed, it may not be true. So WWE, if you're listening to this, let me know. But I'm willing to bet if you're selling merch, that's another way of the public showing support for these people. So I think when these people are battle tested, it's like an easier go-to. Remember, there was a time where things were falling through, like Charlotte would leave and all of a sudden she'd come back and then she's champion. That happened time and time again, because she's, whether you hate her or love her, she's still Charlotte Flair. She still shows up. She still shows out. And it's just an easier lift. Like, okay, we need some energy. We need something. Let's go to Charlotte. So I think that might be one of the reasons why we see the mid card kind of just shake. It sounds like, just even talking about it, I thought of the tag team division, where it's like we have these things, but it's a lot easier to sell. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a terrible analogy. It's a lot easier to sell Nikes than it is to sell Pony. I don't even know if Pony's still around. Like, and I think it's one of those things where, if you're looking at this whiteboard and you're looking at names and, you're looking at people who give pops, then you're going to lean towards the people. It's just an easier, like booking, an easier writing.
And I'm still tripping that Damian Priest and Truth weren't on the WrestleMania card and they were the tag team champions. I'm like,
Io and Asuka were not on the WrestleMania card. Io Sky and Asuka. They're two major workhorses and big signings that they brought in.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead, Hope. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. When Jade had the belt, how many times did she actually defend it? And I mean, we could go through a laundry list, looking at Charlotte on this year's WrestleMania. I mean, I like Charlotte with Alexa. I like the whole, what they're doing. But at the end of the day, this is Charlotte Flair. I personally would like for her to hit 16 before her father leaves this side. I do believe that she can do that, barring no further injuries. But it's a combination of the TKO factor. Who is really in charge of the creative? Is it really Trip? Is it really TKO? Is it a combination of the two, or is there another entity involved? Because you're right, you look at the tag team division, it's not just the mid-carders, but there are a number of good people who could bring, who people would come and support if you push them correctly. I understand you've got every single thing going on. You've got things with A&E, you've got things with Netflix, you got the various shows, you got the PLEs, you got the other things going on. In some ways, as wonderful as it is that they've expanded, in some ways it's almost as if they've been pulled into too many directions and certain divisions have suffered. I believe the woman is still there who's running Raw Creative, the writing team. But at the end of the day, you need more women in the room to support, to speak up, to say, yes, we would do that. No, we wouldn't do that. That makes sense. No, that doesn't make sense. For Tiffany to have been in that fabulous match last year, and was she even on the card this year? I don't think she was even, I mean, just little things. And as you mentioned earlier, honey, Asuka. Where was Asuka? Not Russell, man, it's 2 nights.
Io Scout almost broke her neck 2 weeks back to back, and she wasn't on the card.
It's like
it was a workhorse.
Yes, I mean something. I don't know. I think it's a combination of things, and unfortunately, just like when you look at the release of talent who shouldn't have. I mean, how the Wyatt Six? Are we serious right now?
We could have had Nikki Cross in this mix. We only have Maxine more often. We could have had AJ at least another run. Her and Becky hot potatoing a little bit. Dakota Kai, Zelina Vega held the damn title, and you had a big moment for that, and just completely diminished the girl like it was nothing. You know what I mean? That Natalia.
Don't get me started.
Natalia, why do we go through a whole character change on TV with her being the low-key legend, and then going through GCW the way she did it, AAA and all of that, and then now after that you reverse it and bring her back as being Maxine's support, and had her training in the dungeon and stuff like that. But you stopped all that. Why do we stop? Because that was becoming a good story. I don't know where it got stale, but it's like the attention span in that writer's room is just like, all right, we're done with that. And then like they go into a few weeks later and it goes into something else that doesn't make sense, but it's something that would have worked weeks beforehand if you had continued the story. Finish the story. There's more than one story, okay? And finish the women's wrestling mid-card story, damn it.
Yes.
Well, there's something awry. Whether I honestly believe with anything, almost everything, and let me know if there's something outside of it. Numbers tell all the stories, and numbers dictate how a story is going to go. Yep. And I'm willing to believe that if, for instance, something or somebody or a certain story, actually no, because there have been certain stories that I feel that were cooking and that WWE kind of kiboshed, but I don't see the numbers. I don't know what the numbers look like. I don't know what the numbers, when this particular story that I'm interested in, that it dips. I don't know if, on the collective, these people are involved in the story, their numbers spike as far as merch sales, like all these things. And I hope this is not going off of feeling, because let's not talk about feelings. I hope all these things make sense where it's like, oh, no. Like they can literally walk us back into the room and say, this is why this story didn't continue, because this, if they have and not to say it always has to go by the numbers, but it's very clear that TKO is about money. So if it's not making money, it's not making sense. So
I
that's why I hope
totally.
that's that's the reason behind it. That's the reason why we don't have much of a mid card versus what is the honorable thing to do, because we're in a different era when you have so many people you have to impress and make happy. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I get that.
And you look at
Understandable.
Ricky Saints and you look at Royce Keys, and it's like, I hate his music. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of his theme. I'm like, he has the look to be champion and to do great things, but we know the theme is key. It doesn't resonate with me. I still see Powerhouse Hobbs. He'll be Powerhouse Hobbs to me, and that may not be the best thing to say, but I'm sorry, I see Powerhouse.
Why did all of a sudden when you sent that I thought of Roots? Your name is Toby. My name is
no.
Oh my God.
I cannot.
It's not funny, but it's like literally when you said that, because I was talking about that to somebody, and it was top of my mind.
But I get it. There's just some things that don't resonate, and I get numbers are speak for themselves, but also like I also miss the days where, okay, yes, money, forget it. You need your money. We get it, and we're gonna give it to you, but just listen to us a little bit and acknowledge us too. Make us feel like we're we've been in this thing in the long haul, and we're trying to ride with you. Okay, we're on your side.
You just said it. You just said it, and we are all examples of it. That we rode through the dark time of the Vince era. I remember when we were doing AfterBuzz, and how the setup in the back end for those people who used to watch AfterBuzz, how the setup was outside the studio. They had a lineup of TVs, and then they had headphones, and there was a point where it was just so hard to watch Raw that we literally relied on friend of the show Flobito to like watch it for us, because it was just so difficult to watch it. However, we got all the things we needed, and we still did the after show, meaning that we still watched it. Like if you truly, are not enjoying it, then you would turn the TV off. And that's the only way because now that's stopping money. You're not watching the commercials. You're not buying the merch. You don't know what's going on to buy merch. That will be the only thing that's going to change the trajectory of what's happening. So it's just kind of one of those things like, yes, please listen to us, but also I'm still going to watch. And it's a catch-22. Dollars, people, I mean, you can gosh, I feel like I'm like referencing all these like civil rights type things, like Martin Luther King, when
she's making it political.
Right. It's like Martin Luther King, who, told people certain places where not to buy. They did that with Target the other day. Like the power is in with the money. And I'm not saying, WWE's getting it completely wrong. But if you are that passionate about it, this is, I don't know if we're just in an era, including myself, of just complaining about things. And it's like, okay, well, I'm now going to turn on WWE and watch it. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting time we're in.
I'm so glad they
I'm kind of sad. I missed the AfterBuzz. That would have fit right well. I would have been so.
AfterBuzz was Jeffrey knows. AfterBuzz was a time. AfterBuzz was an era, and for those who I don't know if that interview is gonna come. So anyway, I'll give this very short 2 bullet points. X-Pac was one of the reasons why Women's Wrestling Talk exists. And this is also, it's because of AfterBuzz that I started working with X-Pac and all the things. So, it's a combination of X-Pac, Kevin Undergaro, Maria Menounos, and also a big shout out as far as how I got started back into wrestling is Xavier Woods, Austin Creed. So those people are kind of the reason why we're here as it is. So unfortunately, during the pandemic, they decided to close the doors, and For those people who are in the LA area, the building's getting sold. So it might come back in another form, but I don't know if it's come back. But shout out to AfterBuzz, because this is the reason why WWT and everything, the shows and all that stuff, it's based off of AfterBuzz. Like it's not a originator.
AfterBuzz to the AfterBuzz.
Yeah, it's that's because of AfterBuzz. So shout out to all of them.
Word, love that.
Oh my God!
Anytime someone says Marina Manoon, think of Justin Bieber. Okay, you're gonna need to send me a link with that. I don't know what that is. So with that, and I'll say for me, what I exuded with the mid card is just we're disappointed. I think I can sum that up. What I always say is, what's the solution? So if you can sit down with Triple H or Nick Khan or TKO and say, this is what I want to happen, what would be your suggestion?
I think they're starting with bringing back live events, because one of the things with live events was for creative and the producers and what have you to get a read on pairing people together, what works, what doesn't work, what makes sense, crowd reactions, and of course merch sales. That interaction, they watch all of that. They obviously watch it at TV, but one of the key things about live events was getting them to work together, who works well together, the sync, how the audience responds, things of that nature. So I'll be curious to see, the results of that, say the end after SummerSlam, even, because they've got a whole slew of events between now and then, and really curious to see how it will impact not just the mid card, but the overall card up and down. It's been a missing piece. Even Cody Rhodes had mentioned, where the live events. Other wrestlers have mentioned. I mean, they enjoy the time off, but at the end of the day, you need to work. I mean, after a while, there's a big difference wrestling 5 days a week, maybe 6 days a week versus 1 or 2. You're going to get a little rest, and it shows up in some. Let's keep it real. I see you, Honey Bear. You know what I'm talking about in particular. It shows up. It just does. And I'll leave it at that.
Honey,
which part?
As far as the mid card, if you can give like a blueprint, or not a blueprint, a suggestion as far as how you would improve. If you were in charge, what would you do to improve it?
Well, I'll tell you what I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have fired a lot of those or released a lot of those women that they released, because I feel like due to the lack of the quantity and quality of the women that you had on that roster, you could have done a lot of work with all of those women even up until now, going into Money in the Bank, going into Clash, and like we could have. That would have been my suggestion probably 2 months ago. But yeah, that's what I would not have done.
See, the getting rid of the wrestlers, like there's so many things. Man, there's so many things that I wish like WWE can actually show, but then you can just turn it around, because I don't just think they just got rid of them just because. I think there's definitely some other things kind of tied into it that, is buried between, the 4 or 5, maybe even 10 people at the top.
Right, where we would want to be the flies on the wall in those rooms.
Yeah, because it's like, some of the stuff doesn't make sense, but then again, you always kind of, what was it? It was a Jerry Maguire. I'm like, all these like old like references. Show me the money. Like
maybe not. I mean, listen, if there was some for a specifically good reason and they weren't bringing what they needed to their product, rightfully so, fine. But a good handful of those women we could have still worked something out. I feel like they could, the
thing that always gets me with the releases, and I'll say it once, I'll say it again, I don't want to see anyone lose their job.
Right.
But you notice it's always the talent. Why? And sometimes it's people in the office, names we never hear of, but it never seems to be anyone in the writer's room where it all comes back to. if just once we could see something. And again, you don't want to see anyone lose their jobs, but they're a part of it. It's not just talent.
Mm-hmm. I guess we'll see what's gonna happen with all of that. Yeah, it's a crazy time. It's an interesting time. It's great to be like documenting it at least. And I think it's, you know, one of those. I think we were all kind of high when Triple H took over and we're getting these amazing stories.
Yeah.
But we, you know, I think with the natural progression and everything that's happening, we're gonna be in this weird place. But the show must go on. They're still having PLEs. They're still having shows every week.
And we
And
still,
you know, we
still gonna go. We still gonna watch. Like we are still, like we are like wrestling fans. Man, we are. I've learned growing up, we are some fickle creatures, man.
Carmelo Hayes said that not too long ago. Yeah, that we're fickle.
We are.
Yeah,
but I guess it's just I felt like it doesn't mean anything to have those titles if we're not emotionally invested with the women. And there, instead of giving them 2-minute backstage segments, like do you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, but that's where the storylines come in, the meaningful storylines. We have to, it goes back to why I was drawn to wrestling back in the 80s, why so many others, because you had the storylines. You didn't even have to have a match. If you had a good talker in the ring
or a backstage good talker, like what, like when you saw Dwayne's pork chop sideburns and shades, you did not change that channel. Because he was gonna talk his stuff into that camera, or back in when with Mean Gene, and you know what I mean. Like, ugh,
it's real.
Well, here's the thing. Go on. What you're gonna say?
No. Go ahead.
I think here's the thing too. You think of that time, there were less wrestlers. There was also less women. So let's not even let's just say. Right. But also too, a lot of them were going off the dome, like they were going off the cuff. They didn't have dedicated scripts. So that's one thing. I think that and it's not taking away from the wrestler who can't really cut a promo, but cutting a promo makes, for me, if you cut a promo and your wrestling is just okay, like you already got me at the promo, because now you remembering the lines. If you can make me laugh and you're like, oh damn, like that's what like all those things make. That's the hook. And I feel like sometimes what WWE does, and they kind of ebbs and flows with this too. They sign a bunch of talent, and it's like they're hoping some of the talent stick to the wall, opposed to, and I forgot who said it in the chat about developing. And you're seeing now like kind of the developing pipeline where we're seeing a lot of NXT people move to the main roster. Like we're seeing, I'm gonna regret saying this, but we're seeing Trick Williams, for instance, right? You saw when he first started NXT, and you're seeing him now. You're seeing when Bianca Belair first started in NXT, and you're seeing her now in the development of everything. You need time, whether you're starting at, number 9 and you can talk on the mic, but your wrestling's not that good or whatever. You need time to develop the character. And what it is that not everybody's going to make it. True. However, here's the big, if you now give all these people these chances to at the big stage, and then a year from now you cut them, then you're doing them a disservice. Then why sign them in the first place? And that, again, I'm same with Hope, and I'm sure you said this too, honey. I want everybody to get a job, but for me, it's like if I'm not it, and you're like guessing, oh, I don't know if she's gonna make it, then don't choose me. Let me figure out my life on this scene. Let me do my thing, and then if I get to a certain thing where you're like, you could choose me, and you have a pathway for me, and I will make it on the main roster, because some people you just know, then do that. It just sometimes it seems like they sign people, and the conversation that you referred to, Hope, the conversation that's happening without you in another room is a disservice to you. Right. Because it's like they're already like, oh, they're not going to make it. We're going to just wait for them to fail. Opposed to just saying, yo, you on the cusp right now. You need to step or shut up or start packing. Like those conversations need to be had. Now, whether they are had, I don't know. I ain't there. I highly doubt it, because I feel like there's a whole HR violation in itself. So, there's certain things that, they're doing a disservice to wrestlers, and they're also doing a disservice to us, because we might be invested in a certain wrestler and they
Right.
already have plans that this wrestler is not going to make it past the year.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like there's a lot more bureaucracy and red tape and white boardrooms. That is a double entendre that's happening that the wrestlers and us are not privy to. So yeah,
No,
well, I don't know.
she was cut. She got the call from TKO. It wasn't Triple H who called her, and that says a lot.
Yeah.
Who's in charge, really?
Well, with that being said, we are in charge of this channel, so we can control that. Like I said, Courtney is at AEW, so if you see her, say hello. As you can see, the mayor was supposed to, take over the show today, but the mayor's in the streets.
No CEO Wednesdays. I thought, oh wow.
What y'all can do is tweet at or DM the mayor and ask him where the show at. But with that being said, we gotta go. So honey,
that sip she took, she's at. I can't.
Honey, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on All Things Wrestling with Honey on the socials, and I do mean all things now, because I did it. I caved. Your girl's buzzing.
But you got Blue Sky or you got Twitter?
I got Twitter. Your girl's buzzing.
I wish you would have told me.
It started on the Twitter, and Twitch too. So Wrestling with Honey on all the stuff, Facebook, all of that. You guys know. And catch me Fridays, Honey Night SmackDown once again. See you guys Friday.
Hey, my honey
all right,
bear.
Hope, where can everybody find you?
Miss Hope 0621 on most of the social media channels, and of course Pro Wrestling Post to check out any articles. And if there's anything that you want me to write about, please reach out to me and let me know, and I'll see what I can do.
All right. Well, you guys can follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Make sure you follow Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms at www.talkpod.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, I want to say thank you and welcome to the 500 plus new subscribers in the last week. Y'all have been showing out. I really appreciate it. Make sure y'all who are watching us, tell your friends, tell your friends' friends, tell your cousins' friends, tell your baby mama them, tell the fathers,
your notification
tell the mothers,
alarm,
all
share it.
Subscribe. Everybody,
baby mama friends,
everybody,
baby mama
the
friends.
2 families, the cousins, the
baby's mama's
10
mama's
cousins,
friends.
all of them. Tell them about Women's Wrestling Talk because we definitely need your support. And yeah, apparently somebody's telling somebody, so I appreciate y'all. And let us know what more stuff you want to see. If you want to see Ced's actions in the streets, we can maybe work that out for you for the right amount of super chats. So all of that good stuff. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.